Okay, I realized that I was counting these wrong, so this is actually step 3. What I thought was step uh, 3 was actually step 2, so I'm going to keep working in this file that I named Destiny iOS 13-step 3. So let's look at number 3. This actually contains 2 and 3. So at this point, they want us to create a structure. So um, let's see. So I'm going to go over here, and right now I'm just working with code, so I don't have um, the assistant editor anymore. I've just made it the primary file. So I'm looking at story.swift. So it says, we've already created a folder called model, and inside there's a file called story.swift. Modify this file to create a struct called story that describes the structure of a story, including properties for the story title, choice 1, and choice 2. So, so I can't remember exactly the form that I'm supposed to use. So I'm going to go back to this. Oh, this is my other Destiny version. I'm going to go back to the Quizlet and look at that form. And I'm going to, oh, okay, so that is the struct question. So I'm going to just copy that over. So this is the structure we need to use. Only now I know that I'm supposed to use story title, choice 1, and choice 2. So I'm going to get rid of this thing and just have this as title. And we know it's going to be a string. This is choice 1. And that's going to be a string. And then I'm going to just copy and paste that and make it choice 2. So now I think I've done what they said, what she asked us to do. So yeah, I've got this struct now. I don't know if she wants us to do an init. But if successful, you should be able to replace the 3 constants, story 0, choice 1, and choice 2, in the view controller Swift with a single line that creates a new story from the story Swift. So I'm going to go over here to the view controller. Oh, wrong one. Okay, so view controller over here. And so it's going to look like something like this. So I think I'm just going to build this just as an example for myself. So I'm just going to type, and I can't copy and paste, unfortunately, because it's an image. But I am going to let example, I'm just going to say the same thing, let example equal, and this time I'm going to type in story, because remember that is the name of our model. Remember we're trying to make the, oh, I didn't rename this, story. Trying to make the title of the struct also equal the name of the file. So now I can say let example equals story. And then when I use this parenthesis, so I do so equals story. But for some reason it's not seeing that. Let's see, let example equals story. So it should know. Oh, here. Okay, so I did the thing that she was doing, which is called Command B, to get my app to know, to get Swift to know that I made that other change. So Command B means build. So I just type in this. So title is going to equal to this thing. Choice 1 is going to equal to this. Choice 2 is going to equal to this. So now I've got let example equal this. Matt. So now I don't need this anymore. So I'm going to hold it here though, just in case I need to refer back to it, and then I'm going to change it there. Okay. So now we just did, so now of course this is all complaining, but let's just see what she says here. So I just did that thing, but she says instead of creating separate variables to store more stories, create an array called stories that contains a total of 3 stories. So that means what she wants us to do is create an array. Let me, I can copy this over. So I'll do the commenting. Okay. So then here I want to call this let stories equal, and then and I'm drawing a blank right now. I think I could figure it out if I needed to, but let's just take the easy route here and go over here to this example that we made. And you'll find that when you write code, you will regularly refer to the other code that you've written. But over here in the Quizler app, I think we put this in the quiz brain, but we made a let quiz equals, so you can see it equals this, and then you go through, oh, this looks awful familiar too. Doesn't this look like this information? So it looks kind of like that. And notice that there's a comma after every entry, except the last one. I often like to put a comma even on the last one in case I add something later and I don't want to forget to do it. But anyway, so let's go back to the main storyboard of the Destiny app. Oh, Destiny. Okay, right. Okay, so here we are, and so we're going to make a something called this. So we know we have to do an open square brace and a closed square brace, and then in between we're going to copy this format. So we're going to say we're just going to say story. And then we're going to have this one, the see a fork in the road. Take a left. Take a right. And now we don't need this thing anymore. So let stories equal one of these, and then we do a comma, and then we say story, and then we say the same thing again, and this time it's going to say you see a tiger, shout for help, play dead. Shout for help. And play dead. And then we do it one more time, comma, and then story. And then this thing, and then this time it's going to be, you find a treasure chest, open it, check for traps. You find a treasure chest, open it, check for traps. So that looks pretty much like that other thing that we did, where there were commas between the 2 different parameters in the struct. Okay, so then I'm going to go over here and look again at what we're supposed to do next, and then fix the errors in heated load. So now we can see that story label.text doesn't work anymore because story.o doesn't exist. So what do we know about this? So we know that we have to now be referring to this thing called stories. So if we look over at the other app to see what she told us about there is, let's see, we were using something like this. Quiz, which is like that. Question number, which we defined before, but in this case, we'll probably, in our other case, we'll probably use 0. And then dot answer. And you remember, even though we've got A here as our definition, the reason that works is because we had, in our definition, we did an init cycle that created answer equal to A. So we can pass in this A value and have it be equal to answer, pass in the Q value, have it be equal to text. But so far, it doesn't look like she's having us do that, because if you look again at this README file, she's just using the title, choice 1, choice 2, and she's got these other options that she hasn't told us about yet. So I'm thinking just to go back to the view controller, and all we have to do here is say store, should be lowercase, stories 0, because we're in an array and we're just looking at element 0. We're just trying to copy the behavior we had before. And now you see when I hit the dot, it comes up with a selection option. So I'm going to say title for that. And then for this one, choice 1 button.set title is going to be the same, but now I'm changing this choice 1 to be stories 0 dot choice 1. And then I'm going to change this to be stories 0 dot choice 2. So I got that happening. So now all the errors are gone. Is that all we're supposed to do with this? Okay, so she just wanted us to do that. And then let me see if it works. So I'm going to run it and see if it works. Okay, so that's what we wanted to see. All right, so I'm going to end this recording, and then I'm going to do this. The next one we did is 4. Okay, so I'm going to then now work on 4 and see how that goes. So I'm ending this now.